Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Cliff Ravenscraft here, and today I'm joined with my good friend Jeff McMahon. I have known Jeff for many years, ever since he was first the virtual private trainer for Pat Flynn. Jeff, how are you today?
I am fantastic, Cliff. Excited to be here with you, buddy.
I am super excited to have you here with me. So today we are going to talk about holistic wellness for entrepreneurs. Just diving straight into things, I want to ask you real quickly, how did you get into the work that you're doing today? And can you describe what that work is?
Yeah, so what I do is one-on-one coaching virtually via Zoom or FaceTime with people all over the world to go through workouts and health coaching for all their habits, whether it's sleep habits, they want to be better at pickleball, they want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro like my guy did last year, like whatever people want to do, be there to guide them through and get them to whatever health and fitness goals they want to do. So I been doing this virtually for 10 years. I've been a trainer for 16 years. Got into virtual training because my mom had a stroke, and when she lost the left side of her body, um, she wanted me to help out her other stroke support people that couldn't make it to therapy. So we started back when that was Google, whatever it was, Google, I don't even remember. Anyway, so started with her, and then Pat Flynn on his podcast said that he was looking to do a triathlon. So I emailed him one day, just Christmas Eve, and it was, "Hey, heard about on your show. You want to do this? I'd love to help you." He was interested, so we started. He was my very first person 10 years ago, and haven't looked back ever since.
That is awesome. And what does it look like when somebody has you as a virtual coach? What all is involved in that?
So with me as a virtual coach, it's either somewhere between 2 and 4 days a week of live workouts with me. So they're at their home or if they're traveling, and we get workouts in, because the biggest thing with workouts is consistency. You get results. Then when you get results, you're happy. So you want to be more consistent. So the way to do that is to make it convenient for people, to hold them accountable. So with the live sessions, people have it in their calendar, they show up, they're getting the results that way. And then it's answering everyone's questions. All right, so how do I start sleeping better? How do I create the habit of eating better? How do I create the habit of just being more active and going for walks, going for things to do outside versus sit at home behind, a screen of some sort all the time. So it's working on the habit side of everything as well, to make sure you're sleeping better, you're eating better, and you're feeling better literally every single day.
I love it. I understand how the coaching questions and conversations can go, but you're saying that you're scheduling these live sessions, workout sessions with people. So, what's required on the part of your client as far as equipment at home? And what are they doing? Setting up a camera on their laptop and putting it on a chair, and you're able to see them doing their workouts? And walk me through something like that, just for those who may not have a picture of it.
Yeah. So via Zoom, they'll put me usually laptop, just because it's a bigger screen, they can see me. And the best part about virtual training is I can, keep the intensity, watch your form, correct anything, help, show you and demonstrate so you can follow along. And I could be like, no, lift your hips. No, put your shoulders back. Like I can still do everything I would do, except hold the weight for you, basically. So it's just like having a personal trainer, except at home. So there's no travel, there's no stuck in traffic, there's no car issues or anything like that. So it helps so much more with people's schedules that way. And then equipment wise, I always tell everyone to start with a stability ball, which is the round big balls, and a set of dumbbells. With those two pieces of equipment, you can do so many things that you would in a gym, and they don't cost a lot and they don't take up a lot of space. After those two, we usually add in a resistance band, just for more variety, and or a kettlebell for, again, for more variety. But the point is, you don't need a lot from the gym to be able to get good workouts at home. And then also, instead of using a treadmill, you can just go outside on the days that are applicable and go walking to just get that part of, because walking is the best way to burn fats minus sleeping. So I always tell everyone to be walking, because it's such goodness for your heart and for your health.
Awesome. I love it. All right, so let's talk about what are some of the hidden traps related to those of us who are online digital entrepreneurs, and what's the biggest problems that we face in our health and fitness, would you say?
A lot of the biggest problem is distractions. So a lot of times, if you are home, you can easily be distracted doing something else or being caught up in things. Or kids are a big, not distraction, but they do take up a lot of time. So it's how to finalize and prioritize your time. That's why, for me, I do all my workouts with my people for 30 minutes. I can get enough done in 30 minutes that will get you the results you're looking for, but it won't take up your whole day that you're trying to find how am I going to fit in an hour or an hour and a half workout when I have so much on my calendar already? So I always have everyone do 30-minute workouts because it's efficient, it's concise, and you can be consistent because most of the time you can plan 30 minutes a couple times a week in your schedule, even if we have to throw it in on a Saturday or something. Um, and that's where people really love it because, like my lady had a baby and 5 months later was wearing a bikini, only doing 30-minute workouts with me 3 times a week. I climb my Kilimanjaro, like I told earlier in the show, only doing 30-minute workouts with me twice a week. Like we can get a lot done through the workouts. They're made for whoever's in front of me because a lot of people have knee issues or shoulder issues or whatever, and I'm an orthopedic rehab specialist, so I do a lot with injury prevention, getting your body strong enough to handle if you want to be better at pickleball or downhill skiing or whatever your activities are. We use the workouts to complement that in your lifestyle. So um, any other things that pop up really is more or less just not being held accountable. Therefore, you don't find yourself doing it on a consistent basis. And that's where me as a coach is such a benefit for a lot of people.
Yeah. One of the things that I really wanna speak to are those who are these digital entrepreneurs. Maybe you're like me, work from home. I imagine you do work from home as well, Jeff?
Yep.
Uh, yep. So I want to speak to those who are out there. Maybe you are relatively new to your entrepreneurial lifestyle, or you're just a few years into your entrepreneurial lifestyle where you're trying to still navigate how do I bring in consistent income. Maybe there's a little bit of stress or anxiety about, how inconsistent that income is. And maybe you're putting in 50, 60, 70 plus hours a week, 12, 14-hour days into your work. And maybe at one point you had a good routine of fitness and health and working out. Maybe you never did. Either way, whether you had it before or not, slowly other priorities seem to have crept in and the workouts got put on the back burner. Jeff, can you speak to those who are sitting behind their computer desk, sometimes 4, 5 hours at a time without standing up, and they're doing that, in bits and pieces throughout the day for 10 to 12 hours a day? What's the potential drawbacks of not having a regular fitness routine over the course of, let's just say, 6, 9, or 12 months of that action, and heaven forbid it go even further than that?
Yeah, a lot of issues with, they always say sitting is the new smoking or whatever. So sitting allows gravity to push down on your diaphragm. And the one thing you have to realize is you burn fat by converting oxygen to CO2. So by breathing, that's why you burn the most fat while you sleep because you take the deepest breaths, or you burn the most fat while you walk because you're expending energy taking the deepest breaths. So the if you're sitting, your diaphragm is down, your posture is going to be in front. You're going to start getting what's called upper cross syndrome, where you get neck and tension headaches all through here because you're always forward typing on a keyboard or whatnot. So posture wise, you start to become in pain. Fat wise, you start to increase your stored fat in your body because you're not burning it properly. And then lastly, your glutes actually prevent lower back pain. And the more you sit, the weaker your glutes are. So the more you sit, you're actually hurting your back, hurting your fat stores, and you are decreasing your posture. So you become less mobile and less range of motion. Therefore, when you try to look in front of a camera and be up and have your shoulders back, you can't do that. And you just have a different presentation. So then you find yourself not smiling for photo shoots, not putting yourself out there on live streams, not feeling good about yourself in clothes when you're up on stage presenting to someone. And that's where the biggest things that people always get from working out that they never ever talk about in marketing is confidence to be in front of the camera, to present yourself, be in front of a camera for YouTube, up on stage and feel good and feel big versus feeling small and insecure. And like that personality and that perception really goes a long way to have the ability to build the business and, you know, the desired income that you're looking for.
Yeah, and I definitely can concur and also resonate with all of that because I used to weigh almost 300 pounds and I worked around the clock, almost died in the hospital after my first year in business in 2008. Actually, at the end of 2008. So in January 2009, went in the hospital because of just all of the medical things that came along with consistent daily high levels of stress and anxiety and fear and worry about money and everything, and struggling with the whole mindset of how do I even make this business profitable, working around the clock and not giving any thought whatsoever to my physical fitness and health. There was a time I'd get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd work all day. I'd eat breakfast at my desk. I would make breakfast and take it down to my office. I would then go up and make lunch and bring it down to my office and eat. And I would eat dinner with the family, but oftentimes go back to work afterwards and work until 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And, just imagine 3 to sometimes 5 hours of sleep and doing that 7 days a week, every week for 9 months without a day off. Let's just say my body had taken a toll.
Yeah. And the hospital is a scary place to be. So, so happy you are changed around.
Yep. So, what would you say to somebody who is experiencing that level of stress, that level of anxiety, and it's like, "Listen, Jeff, it's great that you think that I have the time in my life for me to go and work out 3 days a week. That I mean, that's just an impossibility. Not with the levels of income that I have right now, and maybe some of them are working in a second job or maybe even a third job. And it's like they just say, "I don't have time for this workout stuff." What would you say to somebody like that?
You have to make time for 30 minutes at least 3 times a week, whether it's on, you know, weekends. If you are working 7 days a week, that's fine, but if you don't want your health, I mean, because without your health, you're not gonna have a business because 'cause you're gonna be, who knows where that dark road can go. So you have to do something to better yourself to be able to maintain this energy. So for me, I would tell people you need a minimum of 6 hours a night of sleep. If you're not at least getting that, then you're really going to suffer on a lot of realms for energy production, mental focus, endurance to be able to handle longer days, to be able to keep growing this business. I mean, if your goal is to really keep growing the business, you want to have enough mental production to be clear minded, making smart decisions, and putting your best foot forward. So, sleeping 6 hours a day minimum. I would be telling people at least 3 days a week, doesn't matter which days of the week, try to get a 30-minute walk in. So, therefore, you're outside, you're working on your posture, you're getting fresh air and vitamin D from the sun, and it doesn't cost anything to go for a walk. Listen to a podcast, make business calls when you're on that walk. You don't have to just lose that time, but you are putting more activity into your body. And then the last thing, if you are wanting to really make a change, green vegetables at night. So green vegetables help your body burn fat while you sleep. So if you can have dinner with some sort of green vegetables in it, broccoli, asparagus, spinach, kale, whatever works best for you, have that at dinner time will really go a long way to providing your body the proper nutrition it needs to make a change.
I like that. The other thing that I would say, and coming from a mindset coach, and I coach a lot of entrepreneurs primarily and business owners, and that is one of the things that I learned from my own journey. And I've actually helped a lot of other people realize this in their own lives, in their own running of their business. Most of the reason why we're struggling with our emotional state and also some of lack of energy, lack of creativity is because we're not physically well. And if you could just make that commitment, like Jeff's talking about, to working out 3 days a week or more if you can, just 30 minutes a day will start to change certain chemical makeups. So your brain is starting to release different chemicals into your body that releases or reduces stress. It can actually have an incredible positive impact on your mental, emotional state. You'll come out feeling more confident and more creative. You'll have more energy throughout your day if you get that workout, especially if you do it in the morning. It's
Yep.
not required that you do, but these are the things that'll happen is if you can go and do that thing first, you might find that some of the creativity that you get from these exercises, from this practice, from this routine, will help you become so much more productive in the day that you'll actually get more done in less time.
Mhm.
And you'll have, and a lot of that getting more done in less time is just not dealing with all of the anxiety and the low emotional state. Sometimes bouts of depression can be common for those who are not getting enough vitamin D and emotional, I'm sorry, motion into their daily movement of their bodies. So if you can get into there and get physically active, you might find that your mood emotionally improves, your overall physiology of what's going on, the chemical makeup of your body causes you to have more energy, be more creative. And it's kind of like what I would say is you don't have time not to work out. In fact, the fact that you believe that you don't have time to work out is probably a symptom of you are not making a commitment and a priority of working out. Any thoughts on that from your perspective, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. And like I did a post just on Facebook that said, don't work out because you hate your body, work out because you love your body. Your body needs exercise to feel strong. It needs exercise to have proper circulation till your organs run properly, so your body is more efficient. In working out, yes, you are increasing your endorphins, so your hormones are going to be your happy hormones are going to be higher, and it pushes down your depression and stress, which is cortisol. So the more you're happy, the less you're stressed, the more active you are going to want to be because you feel better. You stand up taller. You want to be more in front of your audience all the time. They're loving all the content you're putting in, and it's a symbiotic relationship. To successful people, for the most part, do some sort of activity for their health and wellness, and it doesn't have to be you have to, I mean, by all means, have a gym and work out, absolutely. But if you at least go for a walk, that does so much for your body in and of itself that most people don't do. That's a great starting point, and then add in from there whatever you are comfortable with.
I like it. All right, so a couple of things. I want to take somebody who is just not in the habit of working out at all right now. And I know you've kind of touched on this already, but let's just take somebody who is going to go from sedentary 10 to 12 hours a day, working somewhere between 5 to 7 days a week, and they're not working out at all. They're on the couch watching television and maybe even emotionally eating at the end of their long stressful days. Let's
Mhm.
take that person for just a moment. What would you recommend if they were going to make a commitment? Listen, I'm going to start out, I'm going to commit to 3 days a week, 30 minutes each day of those 3 days. What routines, what activities would you recommend that they start with, given the fact that their body is just not prepared to do maybe some of the more heavy, more intensive stuff yet?
Yeah, I would recommend day one, do 20-minute walk with 10 minutes of yoga, which is a great way to stress and open up the range of motion for your body. Get on YouTube. There's a bajillion yoga people you can follow just to get a video for 10 minutes in. Day two, I would do some sort of resistance. Now, that could be push ups against a wall. It doesn't have to be push ups on a floor hurting your shoulders or anything. Squats to a chair, and doing your stairs as lunges, but you're doing step ups on stairs, working because you want to be able to work your lower body and your upper body. So that way, when you are sitting, you're doing less damage to your spine, to your posture, and everything else to have stronger muscles. And then day three, go back to the walking and the yoga. It's an easy way to get started because it's quote unquote pain free, and it's quote unquote getting the right steps going, is like I said before, with habits, because once you have habits, that changes your lifestyle. If you're just doing it short term and think, oh, I just want a summer body, that you should have a summer body all year round. It shouldn't just be a summer body. So like you want to create the habits and the lifestyle to be able to wear a bikini 12 months out of the year whenever you want to, because you're maintaining that lifestyle to feel confident in your skin, to feel good about yourself, to um, be stronger and more fit on a day-to-day basis. And if you do that 3 days a week is usually what I always tell people. I mean, you live life in the majority. If there's 7 days a week, you're putting in, 7 days a week of work, you should be putting in roughly 3 to 5 days of fitness to be living in the majority of the time you're being healthy.
I like that. So, and by the way, would you recommend excuse me, would you recommend when they're searching on YouTube for yoga, is there a special phrase? Because I mean, there's some pretty advanced stuff out there, and I've tried some yoga that quite frankly, I'm like, I don't even know any of these moves. So do you recommend just like yoga for beginners
Yeah, like
or
10-minute beginning yoga or yoga for beginners, 10 minutes, and there's got to be lots of videos that you can watch on it. But yoga is just great because it tells you to take deep breaths. So any meditation is all glorified breathing. Yoga is
yeah.
glorified stretching. So they put it together to get you to breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. But the whole point is you're taking deeper breaths, therefore reducing your stress, therefore clearing your mind to feel good to go and conquer the day.
Yeah. I just want to point out, you mentioned in day 2, maybe doing some push-ups against the wall, which I love. I love the idea of that. But I had this crazy flashback to sit-ups in a chair. So, or squats in a chair is what
Yeah.
I think you said.
Squats to a
And
chair. Yep.
so squats to a chair. So I had back in 2014, November 2014, I said, I'm going to work out 6 days a week, every week for the rest of my life. And I did that solid for more than 5.5 years. A couple of months into this new routine, it was walking, it was riding my bike, and it was a little bit of swimming and all of that stuff. Then what happened was I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start strength training. And I didn't want to go to a gym and do all that stuff on my own. I was afraid I might hurt myself by having poor form. So I love your thumbs up coming from your Apple computer. I don't know if you've seen it. It
Oh
keeps
yeah, I see it
pulling it
right
up.
there.
Yeah, I have no idea why that's coming up. Anyway, so okay. So I went to I hired a personal trainer. I went to the gym
Mhm.
and I'm thinking, okay, this is awesome. I'm ready to go and do the real strength training now. I've been doing months of cardio, right?
Right.
So he's like, okay, so we're gonna start off easy and we're gonna start with squats. And he walks me over to the spot in the gym. I'm thinking we're gonna go to the squat rack. I'm gonna put some weights on my shoulder and I'm gonna do some squats. I'm ready. I mean, I just paid a lot of money for this personal training, right?
Right.
So he walks me over to the bench in front of the racquetball court where people
Okay.
change their shoes. And he has me start. He says, "Okay, I want you to sit down on the bench." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Now I want you to stand up without touching the bench." Or and when without putting your hand. I
Hands.
just want you to stand up. So I'm literally doing squats from a bench. I did 5 of those and the room started spinning. I mean, I am winded. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I am this out of shape." Now, knowing what I know now, it's just that those are muscles that I was not actually using. I mean, so it's not anything to be embarrassed about. It's just the fact that,
No.
wait, I'm not used to these muscles, and I'm not using to these muscles lifting up this amount of weight unassisted. And I'm like,
Right.
wow, okay, we've got some work to do here. But eventually, I got to, it was probably about 6 or 7 months later. I'm over at the squat rack and setting PRs and stuff like that. But as soon as you said squats from a chair, oh my gosh, yeah, I,
Yeah,
I
and that's
remember being
where
incredibly embarrassed by that.
and that's where like working out at home, there's no one to be embarrassed. So it's great to be there because you work your way up and build your confidence as you get stronger and stronger. And just starting with squats to a chair is a great starting point, and then build up from there as you get better and progress. Then you can add dumbbells to it or whatever you want to. But the point is, you don't need a huge gym to get what you're looking for. Gyms are great for diversity and giving you equipment, but really don't need it as much as you think you do.
I want to speak to that for just a moment for those who, because there are some people I think will benefit from a gym membership and going into a gym. And let me just speak to that for just a moment. And what I will say is, I did that for a now I have a home gym at home now, and I still have a gym membership. One of the benefits that I found from going to the gym was the opposite of what my fears were initially. My fear initially was that I would go, I would be embarrassed. I'm going to be surrounded by all of these people who are super fit, and I'm going to be this unhealthy, unfit person, and everybody's going to judge me. And you know what? I have no doubt that going into gyms with lots of people, some people maybe are judging me. But what I have found is that, quite frankly, it's kind of awesome to go to a place where everybody in the building is kind of after the same thing I'm after, which is
Mhm.
being very intentional about my health and fitness. And so there's something motivating by actually being around people who are physically fit and look great and are that way because they're actually here putting in this work. And that's motivating and that's inspirational. And also, it's kind of inspirational to see somebody who is maybe less physically fit shape than I am. Somebody who is maybe just at a starting point of turning some things around. And it, it's kind of nice and motivating to see them here and overcoming the inertia and having that momentum. And so for me, for a long time, going to the gym was an incredibly motivating thing, not because I felt like I needed all of that equipment, but just it's just kind of nice to be in an environment of other people who actually prioritize this thing that I've chosen to prioritize. Now, I just wanted to say that because a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about and a lot of fears about going to a gym. And some of us could, I think, benefit from going to a gym. Now, before we switch back into virtual, do you have any thoughts on that, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I am not. I mean, I was in a gym for 8 years before going virtual completely, and the everyone in the gym is there to help each other. No one is really there to make fun. Oh, look at this guy; he doesn't know what he's doing, or look at how dumb that person is. I mean, if you're doing some ridiculous thing that no one's ever seen before, maybe they might help you so you don't get hurt. But no, most of the time, people are there to help each other, encourage. You do have a lot of variety in the gym, so you can try new things. I always recommend if you don't know what you're doing to ask for help, therefore you don't hurt yourself. Because that's the other big bad thing about people working out is once they get hurt, they're like, oh, well, this hurts. I'm not going to do it anymore. And then they give up. So learning how to do things the proper way is always a better idea. But yeah, being around people that love to take care of themselves, it does breach great conversations. You get to meet more social aspect of things. It is great on those realms. A lot of people now might not find the time to be consistent going to a gym. That's why virtual is just a good alternative if you can't make it to a gym. That's all.
Yeah. So let's move forward. Let's just say somebody is now ready to up the game. They are ready to add a little bit of equipment, some dumbbells, some kettlebells. Maybe they're ready to start doing some push-ups, maybe on the floor at this point. What are actually no, what I want to ask you to do, can you explain what DOMs are? Because this was it was a eye-opening thing for me to experience. I thought I had hurt myself when I started working out, and it's like, no, Cliff, what you're experiencing is delayed
Doms,
onset muscle
muscle,
soreness.
yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about that process and what people might want to anticipate when they go out and start strength training for the first time?
Yes, your body, when it works out moving any sorts of weights, even if it's body weight, if you become sore, it's your muscles breaking down to then be rebuilding back again. As that rebuilding process happens, you are sore and you're like, wow, my legs are sore from the squats and stuff. It's your body breaking down the muscle to build it up to be stronger and more dense to allow you to do better the next time. So, soreness is good. You just got to know the difference between soreness and injury. So, um, but yeah, as far as pain goes, yeah, there will be some times that you're like, ooh, it hurts to like touch my chest because I'm super sore, or my shoulders are sore, things like that. That is completely normal. It goes away within 1 to 2 days. Depends on where your
Yep.
activity level is, but yeah, and then part of it is like, ooh, I feel sore, I feel good, I worked out. It's a good feeling to have for some people as well. So um, delayed onset muscle soreness is definitely a normal thing. If it creeps
Yeah.
on for 7 days or more, usually it's an injury, and then there's something you should be looking at. But soreness is completely fine. And yeah, the people that are starting with dumbbells and resistance training and stuff like that, the best thing to understand is what is your goals. Like if you're looking to lose weight and tone up, I usually tell people to try to do more total body workouts. Therefore, you're constantly working your legs to build up your testosterone to give your body the right energy for muscles. It also is part cardio, because cardio is just raising and lowering your heart rate. It doesn't mean you have to be doing swimming, biking, running, or elliptical. It just means you're raising and lowering your heart rate. So if you're doing 5, 6 exercises together, then take a rest, that's technically cardio because you're raising your heart, letting it come back down again. So that combined process is a good way for toning and losing weight. And then when you are at your low weight that you want to be, and you want to start getting stronger, I want my chest to be bigger, I want my arms to be more toned, you can go heavier with the weights and do like 2 exercises supersetting. So therefore, you are maximizing more strength to, like you said, the personal record to see, okay, I want to go heavier with the squats, I want to go heavier with the curls once you get to where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I I remember I used to try to do all of the I was doing I at one point I had lost 100 pounds of body fat and I had put on, I think it was 30 pounds of pure muscle mass.
Which is
And
awesome.
I was just like, listen, I told my trainer, I said, I want to go heavy. I want to just keep building this muscle. And there were times on leg days I would come home and I would be, it's like, okay, I feel like I've worked out. I'm sore. Next morning, or no, I'd come if I worked out in the afternoon, I'd come home and work and stuff like that, and I'd sit down, and then it'd be time to go to bed. And our bedroom's up on the second level of the house. No kidding, it always felt so good, but I literally had to climb up the steps like a dog. I mean, it's just like one step at a time because my legs, there's nothing in there. It was like, oh my gosh, that hurts. The best thing is after a day of triceps, your arm is stuck in this position. It's like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, no, I can't straighten it. There's no way." And I push it. And I'm like, "Ah!" Yeah,
And then
so
that soreness
biceps,
all the way
triceps,
through. Yep.
yeah. I and you know what? For me, those things kind of became addicting. That muscle soreness was just like, that I feel good about. I know I worked out today. I loved that stuff, and but
Yeah,
it took
because you
time
start
before
to
I
be
got there.
happy. You start to feel
Yeah.
confident. You start to feel good. That's what's being consistent. That's why the biggest thing for trying to help anyone, that's why I hope on this whole show is to get people to find some way of being consistent. Whether you're on your own, you have a coach or whatever, how can you be consistent? Because you want to live 70, 80, 90 years. You can't not work out for those. Like you want to be active your whole life. Therefore, you have a more vibrant life where you travel, see the world, do fun things. Like I'm very adventurous. I love skydiving, whitewater rafting, rock climbing, mountain biking. I want to be able to do those for as long as I possibly can. And the whole point of doing it would be to be as active and working out to be allow me to have the life that I want to have.
I wanna make a shout out for a book that I read several years ago. It's called Younger Next Year. Have you ever heard of this book?
Yeah, yep, know it very well.
Yeah, it was an incredibly transformative book for me. And one of the quotes that came out of the book that just really resonates, there's lots that really resonates with me, but one quote is like, listen, chances are statistically, no matter what you do, you're probably going to live into your 70s or 80s. There's I mean, most people are going to live into their 70s or 80s. It's just a question of whether or not you're going to be able to stand up and walk.
Yep. Do you want to know the
Yeah,
number
what
one
is
reason why people go into assisted living is because they can't get up off a toilet. They don't have any
yeah.
strength in their legs to be able to get up anymore. That's
Yeah.
sad.
It is sad, and I think it's more than anything, it's sad not in a way that, man, they should have taken care of themselves. I think it's sad that for some reason in our human condition, we have not prioritized educating people on what it really truly means to be physically fit and healthy. I mean, I know that in school we had gym class and all of this stuff, but quite frankly, it was it was a lot of things that they were forcing you to do that you maybe did or did not enjoy certain activities. And there wasn't a lot of education about how important this is lifelong, and some of these, what for me, it was just never taught in a way that was expressed. This is how you can avoid so much suffering in life. And here's how you can have so much enjoyment and a good life condition.
Right.
I just think the educational system has failed, and I don't think it's widespread knowledge about how important it is just to go for a walk, or just to get that heart rate up, or just to lift some heavy stuff every now and then
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah. No. Whether it's accounting in school, we don't ever learn how to handle our own finances, and we don't know how to handle our own health. And so we're left with what is marketing out there that's going to tell us, but that's only to promote whatever they're trying to sell. They don't even care if it's good or bad for you. They just want to promote it. So yeah, it's you having to dig through and see what is the right option for you. And one thing for so many people to just understand and realize is everything is temporary. Like if you don't maintain a healthy lifestyle, you don't it won't stay with you forever. If you know, you have to be consistent at it for however long you want to be able to maintain. Just like business, you can't, okay, I had a good year in business and then not do anything in business after that, because it's going to fall apart, it's going to start dwindling. You have to stay on top of it. The same thing with your health. So
Yeah.
everything is always temporary. Having a six pack, great, but you got to stay with it to have that six pack. Otherwise, that six pack will dissipate in no time after that. So people just always want that short, I just want to lose 10 pounds or lose 20 pounds. Okay, so you lost 20 pounds. Then what? I mean, you're just going to stop and go right back up to gaining the 20 pounds again. I mean, Tony Robbins talks about that all the time with the boiling pot effect. You have this pain point, like, oh, I need to lose this weight because I don't feel good about myself. And you lose it only enough to the fact where, oh, well, I'm going to start eating cookies again. I lost 20 pounds. I deserve this reward. And you creep back up to now you're 30 pounds overweight. And then you have that boiling pot effect again. And so trying to break that yo yo psycho for so many people.
So, Jeff, before we wrap up here, let's just say
Yeah.
there are some people out there who either want that accountability to have a virtual trainer like yourself show up, and it's like, okay, if it's on my calendar and I'm paying for it, I'm going to be there. And I love that I can do it from my home. I never even thought of having a trainer via Zoom or whatever you use. Um, what how can they get in touch with you, and what do you offer for that kind of service?
Yeah. So, best way to get a hold of me now, I'm always on Facebook. So, Jeff D. McMahon, just search for me on Facebook and you'll find me on there. Connect with me, send me a DM and just say, um, heard you on the Cliff Show and would love to learn more about your services. But what I always do is give everyone a free resource so they learn how the benefits of 30-minute workouts at home and a guide to show how to get started. If there's more that you want to take it to the next, like you said, accountability, then I always do a onboarding call for free to make sure that you like who I am, like our personalities, because when you're combining coaching, you want to make sure that you both are, on board and mesh well together. And if so, then we do 6 month transformation commitment, and then it's month to month after that. So I'd love to work with people for those 6 months and just see them, like my lady that got the bikini after 5 months of being pregnant. Like she was so happy, and obviously she's keeping going after that and stuff. So it's we can do a lot in 6 months to get you to where you want to be, and then after that, if we want to continue, we'd keep going month to month to hopefully forever. So we'd be together, besties forever.
Besties forever. I love it. And what is Virtual Training Revolution?
So Virtual Training Revolution is the name of my company. So with I had a local gym that was called Total Body Construction, and COVID shut that down. So when I switched completely without having a brick and mortar anymore, I changed it to Virtual Training Revolution to help revolutionize the health and wellness world across, because right now I'm in China, South America, Europe, Canada, United States, and Puerto Rico. So I'm all over the place with people trying to help revolutionize their health one household at a time.
Awesome. Jeff, I really appreciate the fact that you've come on here today to talk
Yeah.
to the folks in my community. If they want to reach out to you, Facebook, and it's
Facebook.
Jeff D. McMahon. just like
Yep.
it's spelled there, but just put the D in the middle
Yep.
and search for him on Facebook and you'll find him. And I encourage people, whatever you do, just at least get started. If you're not already working out at least 3 days a week, every single week without fail, just start there and use that plan, the 20 minutes of walking, 10
Yep.
minutes of yoga. Look for that beginner yoga and just follow the plan of what Jeff has talked about here. And I just want to say, I've never personally trained with Jeff, but I have friends like Pat Flynn, and I've known other people who have trained with him virtually, and they sing his praises. So because of that, Jeff gets my highest endorsement. I can't stress enough. I don't give that out to anyone, just anyone. But Jeff is somebody who does get my endorsement just because of the
Thank you,
people
Cliff.
I know that have had results of working with him. So, Jeff, thank you so much. Is there any last thing you want to share before we end our session today?
No, I just love meeting people. So I really hope that your audience connects and reaches out, and love to meet more people coming in the near future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Until next time, we encourage you to take everything you do to the next level. Bye bye.